Hello viewers, good afternoon. Today we will try to understand. It's a very important topic for the people, I would say for the nation, that why we pay tax. We'll try briefly to understand what is tax, how it is levied, and how people are in practice to avoid taxes. In this respect, first I would take you to the important constitutional provision which authorizes the nation to impose tax. Article 265 of the Constitution of India. I will share a screen with you in this respect. Just wait for a while, please. You can see this. This is Article 265 of the Constitution of India. Taxes not to be imposed save by authority of law. No tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. Now, this article, Constitution's this article says that taxes to be imposed can be imposed only by the authority of law, by any legislation. There is no other way to levy or collect the. This article very clearly says that this is the legislation. This is within the competence of the legislature, which can enact legislation and can impose tax. Otherwise, it cannot be levied or collected. So, you might have seen that according to this constitutional provision, there is plethora of income tax laws. Income Tax Act is there. Then it amends. Then many things are added to it. So it is the authority of law which empowers the government to collect tax according to the constitution. Now, why it is important? Simply you understand without going into the technicalities. Just try to understand कि ये जो टैक्स है ये इससे पहले मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि जो टैक्स हैं वो दीज आर ऑफ टू टाइप्स. फर्स्ट इज द डायरेक्ट टैक्स, सेकंड इज द इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. जो डायरेक्ट टैक्स है वो आपकी इनकम के ऊपर डायरेक्टली लगता है, और जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस होते हैं वो आप इसको इस तरह समझिए कि अगर आप बाज़ार से कोई कमोडिटीज़ के ऊपर जो होते हैं, जैसे बाज़ार से कोई चीज़ आप खरीदते हैं तो यू पे टैक्स. वो टैक्स जो है इनडायरेक्टली जो है वो फिर गवर्नमेंट जो है उसको कलेक्ट करती है. जैसे आप किसी दुकान से चीज़ खरीदेंगे तो वो आप आपसे जीएसटी, सीएसटी, वट एवर टैक्स इट हैज़, वो इंक्लूड करके आपसे वो चीज़ चीज़ को बेच देगा, ही विल सेल इट टू यू। तो गवर्नमेंट, तो दिस इज इनडायरेक्ट रूट of taxation, which ultimately ends in government treasury. Government collects it. So, what is the importance of taxation? Taxation is important because the amount, the tax which our governments collects, these are these are pluffed back. These are utilized for development of the country. जितना भी जो टैक्स का जो पैसा कलेक्शन में आता है गवर्नमेंट के, गवर्नमेंट उसको लोगों की भलाई के लिए, के डेवलपमेंट के लिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर, फैक्ट्रीज, दिस दैट, पब्लिक हेल्थ, इन सब चीज़ों के ऊपर जो है गवर्नमेंट इसको खर्च करती है। तो आप जिससे जिससे एक सिस्टम जो है, विच मेक्स द सिस्टम for the benefit of the population, the citizens of that country. So इससे आप ये अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि टैक्स जो है कितना रोल जो है वो डेवलपमेंट में प्ले करता है। Therefore, it is very important that the people who becomes eligible for tax, they should pay tax to the government according to their capacities, their incomes, their sources. But the problem here is that there is practice in our societies that we find loopholes to evade taxes, to evade taxation, and we do every bit what is available to us to avoid this. This is not good practice, but one thing I want to clear it, that uh, the people who are not rich, they they pay their taxes, their taxes, but the problem lies with the super rich, super wealthy people who avoids to pay taxes. The problem is here. The problem is not with the common man. The common man who is eligible for taxation, he is paying tax to the government. Say, for example, if you are government employee, your tax is deducted at source, so you can't avoid this. So long as you are in the job, you are paying tax. Thousands, millions of employees, they are paying their taxes. So problem is not here. Problem is with the super wealthy people who are rich people. The problem lies there because they have income tax lawyers, chartered accountants at their disposals who finds ways, routes to uh, to avoid tax and all that, because these loopholes are available within the legal system only. So a common man cannot find, but it is within the capacity of the chartered accountant professionals, tax professionals, whosoever it is, that they able to find out the loopholes to avoid taxes for their client. So the problem is not with the common man. The problem is with the super rich people who avoid taxes. And you might have seen that there are tax havens. You might have heard about tax havens. Tax havens, I would like to tell you that these are not illegal. But what is illegal is the shell company. Super rich people, wealthy people, what they do, they create shell companies and use it as a vehicle for their financial movements. Say, for example, I tell you by giving you an example of the very super wealthy person. For this, I will take you to share the screen. Now, screen is appearing before you. This was on economy, and it was published in our web news web portal also. The source of this news is the Guardian. The Guardian, which published from the United States of America. This is the source. It was published on September 22, 2019. So you see this. Nick Matheson, on a new study, reveals the amazing wealth the governments of hundreds of billions of dollars and the looming crackdown by the world's tax collectors. This is this I wanted to show you that how the money is kept in tax havens, how it shifts from one country to another country. It is the Rupert Murdoch. He is a media tycoon. Last week, floated his family 3.8 billion pounds personal investment company in Bermuda, saving himself 522 million pounds in taxes. Now, Bermuda was chosen because the media tycoon who chairs News Corporation wanted to avoid the taxman after his firm changed domicile from Australia to the United States recently. Just prior to the Bermuda flood, Mudroach bought a 20-room, three-floor residence opposite Central Park in Manhattan for $22 million. Days later, he bought a house in Beijing. Likewise, another example is of Lakshmi Mittal, the Indian-born labor donor industrial magnate. Now, that suppose if Bermuda is the tax haven, These super wealthy people, what they do, they move their money to such places, move their money to such places and avoid taxation in their parent to avoid taxation in their parent company, parent nations to which they belong. Suppose if this person belongs to Australia, he moved his wealth from Australia to uh, the Bermuda uh, tax haven. No, the vehicle to move this wealth is, I have told you, this is by creating shell companies. तो वह तो जब ऐसा किया जाता है तो नुकसान किसको होता है? नुकसान उस कंट्री को होता है। यहाँ से यहाँ इन लोगों ने टैक्स देना था, लेकिन टैक्स दिया नहीं और वो पैसा जो है वहाँ से मूव करके दूसरी कंट्री में टैक्स हेवन में दे गए। तो वहाँ पे है लॉस, ये लॉस है because that country, the parent country is deprived of this tax, which could otherwise, if collected by that country, could be used for the development of its own people there. This further says, this report further says that the amount which is hidden in these tax havens, it is crossing to 11.5 trillion dollars. You can see the the huge mammoth 11.5 trillion dollar in tax havens. This is the amount which is hidden in these tax havens. So this is all a loss to the parent countries because they are deprived of, these countries are deprived of such amount which otherwise is meant for the general public of that country for their development. So this is the rising problem. These super, they find ways here and there to avoid taxation in their parent कंट्रीज, अपनी जो यहाँ के वो रहने वाले होते हैं, वहाँ से टैक्स को अवॉइड करने के लिए ये इस तरह के जो मोड्स हैं वो अडॉप्ट करते हैं। दे ट्रेवल, देयर मनी ट्रेवल्स थ्रू देयर शेल कंपनीज फ्रॉम वन कंट्री टू अनदर। इस कंट्री में ज़्यादा हो जाएगा तो फिर दे विल ट्रेवल टू सम अदर कंट्री, सो दे कीप ऑन मूविंग लाइक दिस। तो ये दिस इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल ऑब्लिगेशन। Taxation, to pay tax is the constitutional obligation. Uh, every citizen who is eligible for taxation, uh, he has to pay tax to his country. Either he pays the direct tax or he pays the indirect tax. Everyone has to pay this because this is the source for the governments which collects this money. It goes to the funds of the government, consolidated and contingent funds, the constitutional creations. And then this, you see that budget is there, every year budget is there. And such things are reflected in those budgets, in those budgets. Uh, so this is the problem. This is the ever growing menace, problem for the countries, that these super rich people, they they find ways to avoid taxations. Well, then another thing which I want to project here is, I will share the screen once again. This para I would like to read for you people to understand that this is one of the defining crises of our times, says John Christensen, coordinator of the Tax Justice Network and a former economic advisor to the Jersey government. One of the most fundamental changes in our society in recent years is how money and the rich have become more mobile. This has resulted in the wealthy becoming less inclined to associate with normal society and feeling no obligation to pay taxes. Now, what is this paragraph is reflecting? It is showing this paragraph to which I have just referred to. It shows that how the super wealthy people, they have become mobile. They able to switch their wealth from one nation to the other in tax havens, and over $11 trillion have been accumulated in these tax havens. The adverse effect of this is that they have become less inclined to the normal society, and they are more busy in avoiding the tax. When we say that they are, it is it is their obligation to pay taxes, but they are avoiding it with the fact that normal society is suffering. They are not inclined. This is an example in my one of my earlier episode on concentration of wealth. This is the example of concentration of wealth. That country's wealth is lying somewhere else. It is concentrated somewhere else. This is a loss to the country, to its people. So it is very important, ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी है कि ऐसी चीज़ों के ऊपर कड़ी नज़र रखी जाए. स्ट्रिक्ट विजिलेंस सर्वेलेंस शुड बी देयर, that how, and their companies, the shell companies, their status must be checked by the government, कि whether these are active companies or inactive companies. When these are inactive companies, it means that these are surely are being used as a vehicle for financial maneuvers to avoid taxes. So this is for the government to, because they have the competitive, they have the structure, infrastructure to check such things, such illegal activities of the super rich people who are driving wealth, draining wealth out from the country. So it is for the uh, government to see, government of the day to see. Super rich are not only the business class, politicians. They are also, there is one class of politicians who are super rich. So these constitutionally tax must remain within the nations. It should not go, that amount should not go out, because that is the amount, that is the wealth of the nation, of that nation, and that is the wealth which is used to ameliorate, to develop the nations, to invest that amount, that wealth on public health, like hospitals, which is need of the hour, like other infrastructures. It adds to the development of the nation. Therefore, we have to get hold on such illegal activities of the super rich people, wherever they are, especially in the developing countries, poor countries, where wealth is desperately needed for the development of the people, of the masses, the nation. So, uh, this was my brief uh, live broadcast on tax avoidance by the people who are super wealthy. As I have told you that common man is paying his tax. He is not avoiding it. Hardly there will be any example. But the threat is from the wealthy people who, with its economic power, able to do such things very easily. So the government is required to keep tab on such activities, strict surveillance on such activities, and nip those activities in the bud, so that the country, its people could be benefited. Thank you so much. With this, I will end this episode, and next time we will take some other such topic. Most probably, I will try to show you that how a few people in India have able to concentrate wealth in a such manner that many could have been benefited if such things would have been stopped by the authorities. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Have a good day.